A starship, powered by black holes. A machine capable of creating an earthquake. A uterus that can incubate a baby without the need for mum. That's right, folks. These are just a few of the inventions mankind has dreamt up which may actually be feasible. So let's take a look at these and more in our video which asks, what is the craziest theoretical thing we could build? At number 7, a Blackhole Starship. According to none other than Stephen Hawking, it is theoretically possible to use black holes as a form of power. And at some point in the future, mankind might use the immense power of one of these strangest objects in the universe in order to traverse the cosmos. Hawking proposes that one day humans will create mini black holes the size of a mountain just outside of Earth's orbit, and that we will use these artificially created objects to fuel the planet. A black hole of this size would give off huge amounts of energy, but it would also be incredibly unstable and hard to accommodate within a regular-sized starship. However, if you were to construct a smaller black hole, one which had a mass of around 600,000 metric tons, it has been calculated that you could use it to accelerate a starship to 10% the speed of light in as little as 20 days. Of course, converting a black hole's Hawking radiation into the energy and thrust required to propel a starship is no easy feat, and since black holes aren't yet fully understood, they may prove to be uncontrollable for use in such a feat. So, if we do wish to explore planets and stars which are light years away across the vast expanse of space, we may need to use an Astro Chicken instead. At 6, the Astro Chicken. Breakthrough Starshot, which was announced in 2016, is a $100 million program whose aim is to send a swarm of laser-powered light-sail nanocraft off to Alpha Centauri sometime in the next 2 decades. This means that if you're 20 years old today, you might see mankind interacting with another star by the time you're in your 60s. But what has this got to do with a chicken? Well, the idea of sending tiny robots to another star is nothing new, and it was first proposed by Hungarian-American mathematician John von Neumann in the 1940s. His von Neumann probes were imagined as miniature spacecraft, capable of not only traveling at high speeds but replicating themselves too, and this idea was later built upon to form the idea of the Astro Chicken by Freeman Dyson. While von Neumann probes would fly to far-off worlds and live off the land to establish a human-robot presence, Astro Chickens would do the same thing on Earth and its surrounding moons and comets. Their mission would be to harvest metals and minerals for the benefit of humans here on Earth, as well as performing routine maintenance on ships, satellites, and anything else we need them to do. These hypothetical robots are basically how we imagine nanobots to work. And with nanotechnology advancing at a rapid pace already, it may not be too long before we see the Astro Chicken swarm become a reality. At 5, the Space Fountain. A space fountain is a hypothetical structure which would stretch from Earth into space and whose function would be to supply orbiting spaceships and space stations with payloads, without the need for costly and time-consuming rocket launches. This structure would supposedly stay erect using a stream of pellets, with the same pellets being forced down the other side of the structure after they've hit the top. Sounds a little bit like, a ding-dong. And when you see the concept drawing of the thing as created by Roderick Hyde, you gotta question what this man had on his mind at the time. Number 4. the Miroshka Brain. According to the Kardashev Scale, which measures the technological advancement of civilizations, a race of beings a few thousand years older than us could theoretically create a structure large enough to surround a star. This object, known as a Dyson sphere, would be used to harness every last drop of the star's energy. But the technology we're interested in does something else. It creates universes. Robert Bradbury is the man behind this concept, as he proposed the idea of a Dyson sphere outfitted with computers, and he called it the Miroshka Brain. This massive star-powered computer would be capable of many incredible things, such as destroying parts of the universe, or simulating new universes within, complete with conscious beings being created. The power required to create black holes and tear through space-time could also be drawn from a Miroshka brain. And we believe that if an intelligent race were to survive for a long enough time, the creation of such a device is almost inevitable. 3. The Artificial Uterus. It is every man's fear that one day women will seize control of Earth and banish all males to an underground milking chamber where we'll live out our days having our life-giving seed extracted from us each morning. But don't be so hasty, ladies, because if we can develop an artificial uterus, it might be you who becomes obsolete. The artificial uterus is hypothesized as being made of both bioengineered and mechanical parts, and such designs have been created as far back as 1955. If we can continue to develop 3D bioprinting in the way we have done so far, it is entirely possible that human beings may one day gestate inside something other than a human female's womb. Of course, there are many ethical and moral implications if such an eventuality came to pass. For example, who would you take out for dinner on Mother's Day? You'd look a little weird sat in a restaurant opposite a large artificial uterus. At 2, a tectonic weapon. Tectonic weapons are hypothetical devices which are capable of interfering with Earth's tectonic plates, causing volcanoes or earthquakes whenever its user so desires. The term tectonic weapon came into existence in the early 90s, but such a machine had been imagined almost 100 years prior by the famous Nikola Tesla. In 1898, Tesla claimed to have successfully tested an oscillating device so powerful it was able to shake the entire building which contained it, and scared of its potential, he smashed it to pieces before it did the same to him. Devices of this nature are prohibited by the United Nations, but to this day, rumors persist that the Americans and Russians have both successfully developed a working earthquake machine, with some claiming that they have both deployed their tectonic weapons on a number of occasions. And in at number 1, the Stanford Torus. The Stanford Torus, first conceived at the turn of the 20th century. Its design was amped up in the 70s when NASA seriously outfitted the idea in a serious proposal for permanent human colonization of space. Their plan was an astonishing habitat capable of housing 10,000 to 140,000 people inside a 1.8-kilometre metal doughnut. Artificial gravity would be created inside such a structure through the performance of a full rotation once every minute, with sunlight reflected in using a series of mirrors. And the ring itself being so large that living on its interior surface would feel as if you were stood within a normal Earth-like valley. A structure of this size would require 10 million tons of mass, with construction materials probably taken from a mining colony on the Moon. And although such a feat is not beyond our technological limitations, NASA has never seriously considered building the Stanford Torus due to the immense costs involved. Bah! It's always money that holds us back. But everyone knows that as time goes on, things get cheaper. So in the future, when you can pick up a Stanford Torus at the dollar store, what other technology may humankind come to invent? What do the experts believe we will achieve given enough time and resources? You can find out more about this in our bonus video, Theoretical Tech of the Future, which you can watch on our Patreon page at patreon.com/strange mysteries. This can be accessed by becoming a Patreon and signing up for a bonus video access at $2 per month, which also allows you to help us decide what videos to make, find out which topics are in the pipeline, and ask the Strange Mysteries team any questions you might have about our work, our lives, or our checkered sexual past. Patreon has become necessary since, amidst the chaos of advertisers ditching YouTube due to a few nasty videos, all other creators like us are having our arms twisted to make ad-friendly content. But we'd rather make videos about the things that interest you, and our ability to do this relies on you. For $2 a month, we can provide awesome bonus content for each video. And eventually, with your support, we can go fully ad-free and dedicate our full videos to just the juiciest ideas packed full of the most mind-blowing content we can find. If you can afford it, our Patreon page can be found at this link here in the upper right with the exclamation mark circle, description box, or you can visit patreon.com/strange mysteries and sign up there. If you cannot donate, then it's cool. We still love you. And we'll continue to provide the best content we can under YouTube's restrictions. As you'll see if you watch our recent video on what would a civilization 1 billion years older than us be like.